I gotta get me a bag, steady type of cash on my bro on that same shit. No, I don't fuck with no lame bitch. Can't even fuck on the same shit. I heard your shit in the swag. That shit is so sad, put in work at that basement. I charge you double that payment.
Hello mortals, it is your Lord Nexus here from the Royal Deities channel, here with a part 2 for What If Deku got one for all earlier. Alright, before we get into the what if y'all do end up enjoying this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if y'all are new, or if y'all are returning viewers. If you came from Prince's channel or mine, either one, just subscribe because you're gonna like our content if you already like our content from our main channels anyways. We made this channel just to have a technical outlet to do some fun what ifs ideas or just chill, whatever. We'll probably end up doing a few collab videos later on, but we kind of get on the same page with a few of those things, but we'll get there. If you have any ideas, let us know. But yeah, so leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Let's get up to 1K. First, let's get to 500. We're getting pretty close. If I'm being honest, we're already close to getting to 200, which is so surprising. Which I thank y'all because I'm guessing most of y'all did come from Prince's channel. So if y'all do enjoy my content, go check out my actual main channel too. But let's get into the video. Alright, so where we left off in the last what if is right around the sludge villain incident. So Deku is literally just using his martial arts, which I still haven't come up with a name for yet. So if y'all do have any good name ideas, I saw one in the last part that was just literally a One Punch Man reference, and I kind of just didn't like the idea. So once I find one that I really like, or ask a friend or Prince, depending on how I feel after this part, or depending on if y'all give me any ideas after this part or not, I will choose something in the next part, and y'all will have something completely to work off of. So yeah, what we're gonna actually say happens is that All Might would show up. He would be the same All Might that he normally is, just going like, no need to worry because I am here. As Deku wouldn't even hear this. He wouldn't even notice that All Might was there. He would still be just dodging the sludge villains, every move, every attack, trying to get at his body. And All Might's watching this. He is just looking at this kid, and he could tell that this kid is either has just an agility quirk or no quirk at all, and is just completely agile. Because from what Deku's doing, it looks like anything a normal human could do if he had the correct amount of training. And like Deku was jumping around, dodging every one of the sludge villains' hits, attacks, like perfectly. He's not like putting any hits onto the sludge villain because Deku understands that there's no point. But All Might's really just watching. He's looking at this kid, and he's like, this kid is very strong. His abilities are just, I can't tell if he has a quirk or not, but either way, his agility, his body looks like it has the perfect amount of strength. And it looks like he's trained for a good long time. And like almost just like this kid could be interesting, as he would come in, step out, make Deku step out of the way. Deku would see All Might. He would just let All Might do what he came to do, since he respects All Might. He's not like fanboying over him, but he at least respects him as a good hero, and as someone that the people can trust as a hero, because he understands that there are good and bad heroes. Like, he respects All Might, but doesn't like Endeavor. He loves Aizawa because he doesn't focus on trying to be in the spotlight. He just does his hero work and leaves everything else out of there. But yeah, so he would All Might would take care of the sludge villain, put him into the container, just a technical water bottle that Deku was carrying, and he would just leave everything after that. He would like say hi to Deku, ask him for his name, ask if he's just gonna choose to become a hero, and Deku was like, yeah, I'm applying to UA next year. I have no quirk, but I still think that with my abilities right now, I should be strong enough to at least not get last place, and should be able to get in. And it's All Might's like, from the abilities that I've just seen from you, you should easily be able to get into UA. There are people in UA now that I feel probably had some weird coincidences of getting in. And Deku would be like, yeah, I agree with you, All Might. But it was nice meeting you, and I will see you at UA. As All Might would just say, okay. As All Might would run, like just jump away, and Deku would start going back on his way. And he would just be walking, and he would take a little break, just start walking around and he would start seeing a populated crowd. He would be confused on like why, he would just be wondering why like there's so many people in the same place, and he would start like looking around, and he would see it's the sludge villain, because All Might would have dropped the thing again. All Might was too interested in like thinking about what Deku had just done, and he wasn't paying too much attention to the container, and it would have dropped, and Bakugo would have kicked it again. And so Bakugo would have been starting to get taken by the sludge villain, and Deku would just come up and like just start walking to the sludge villain, and he would just be like, "Yes, All Might's a good hero, but bro, how do you do that? How do you drop a villain out of the air and not notice?" As he would just start walking and try getting Bakugo, because even if they don't always like each other, even if they don't always get along, they still are friends. And they've gotten way better after these past few years, to the point that they actually do consider themselves friends. So yeah, he's really just like, I'll deal with as much as I can, but eventually someone's gonna need to step in, because I know I'm strong enough to get Bakugo, but I'm not strong enough to deal with the villain yet. And he would just run straight towards Bakugo, start using his martial arts, is what I'm just gonna call it for now. I'm not going to explain exactly what kind, because like I've already said in the last part, he made a version of his own martial arts that literally combines every martial arts that he's ever learned. And every martial arts that he's learned is almost every martial arts that actually has good uses in an actual battle, in an actual fight. So yeah, he's really, think of him more like as Kenichi from The Greatest Disciple. He can completely use all of those martial arts at the exact same time and combine them. So he would start just using all of his strength, all of his abilities, just using his agility to dodge the sludge villain, and actually would eventually manage to grab Bakugo and get him out. All Might would see this, and he would notice something about Deku, even more than he had before. He would notice that this kid, this child, this just young man has the hero's instinct, has the calling to help someone out, even though he knows he might not be able to do anything, to help someone out and run into the face of danger, knowing that it could literally end up in his own injury, in his own pain. And he could just see that his own mind and body started working before his mind could actually contemplate exactly what he was doing. So he would actually want Deku to be the wielder of his One For All. And since he's already seen what Deku's body looks like at the moment, he knows that Deku's body could easily handle One For All, at least way more than Deku's original, like in canon, at this moment in time. So that's exactly what All Might would do. He would like just go into a place where no one could see him, and he would go back into his full All Might form. And he would pop up and deal with the sludge villain. Deku would look at All Might and he would just say, "Make sure you don't lose it this time." And All Might would just say, "Okay." And as All Might would go away, since he doesn't want to do this in front of the crowd, as Bakugo would say thank you to Deku, he would just like really show real gratitude for helping him out so much, and he would just say, "You've beaten me so many countless times after all of these years. I'm glad that it was you that helped me. Thanks, bro." As Deku would just say, "We might not always get along, but you are still a close friend, and you are someone that I do consider family." Well, and my mother your mother would be completely sad, even though she wouldn't show it, even if you died. As All Might would just be watching this from the background, not really saying anything. He had already put the sludge villain away. He did it very quickly, since he just literally did everything as fast as he can, since he wanted to meet up with young Midoriya as soon as he could. And Bakugo and Deku would talk for a good 5 minutes afterwards. They had to deal with the press for a little bit, and Deku did just say that say his name, "My name is Suzuku Midoriya. I'm going to UA." And He wouldn't say anything about him having a quirk or anything. People would ask about what his quirk is, and he would just avoid the question because he doesn't want anyone to know that he's quirkless. He doesn't really care that he's quirkless. He doesn't care at all. But if people heard that he was quirkless, they might kind of start getting an opinion of him that he doesn't want to give until he shows people that he will be strong. Bakugo would go home after they had their long conversation, and Deku would start going home too, as All Might would find Deku when he can catch Deku when he's alone, almost the exact same place that All Might did in canon, and Deku would just say, "Oh, hello, All Might. What are you doing here?" As All Might would just say that, young Midoriya, was it? There's something that we need to talk about, something that I would like to ask you, because after all of these things that I've seen today, I think you might be the perfect choice for this. As Deku would just say, "Okay, All Might, ask away." As All Might would start explaining what One for All is, he would start explaining exactly how it works, and he wouldn't go into any of the actual main details about like All for One or anything like that. He would say that there are people that would want to take this away from you, enemies that you'll have to deal with in the near future. And Deku would just be listening to this. He would be confused on the fact that the idea of even passing a quirk along through generations, like just giving a quirk away is even possible. But him hearing this, really just gives him the idea that even with this quirk, he could actually truly become a hero and not have anything stand in his way. As he would happily accept this, he would thank All Might for this opportunity and thank him for whatever he saw in Deku. And All Might would just say that what I saw in you was the potential to become a great hero, someone that could protect everyone. As Deku would be like, I thank you for what you said, but there are many different ways to protect people. You are a hero, and that is amazing for you, but heroes don't always protect people, and they don't always do it just to protect people. And All Might says, yes, that is true. There are many heroes out there that only do this just to get whatever they choose to want. Get fame, get power, get riches, whatever. But if you're training with me, you at least can trust that I'm not one of those. And Deck would be like, I know, All Might, which is why I accepted. If it had been anyone else, I would have actually had to consider it more carefully, and then probably most likely would have said no and just tried doing this alone. But since it was you asking, I'll accept. As Alma would give Deku the piece of hair and ask him to eat it, and Deku would just be like, okay. As Deku would eat the One for All, and Alma would just ask, meet me at Dekama Beach tomorrow. As Deku would be like, I don't know where that is, but I'll find it. What time should we be meeting? As Alma would just say, how about 6 a.m. As the Deku would just be like, yeah, that works. I'm usually awake by then anyways. As Alma would be like, now, why would a 15-year-old be awake at 6 a.m.? Deku says, I train in the mornings and night, and I was trying to work up to maybe building and owning my own dojo so I could teach martial arts to people, but I'm not too sure. People learning this martial arts might be a little dangerous, and they might not use it for the correct reason, so I'm not planning on ever teaching anyone until I find people that I'll actually trust enough to bother teaching these skills to. Quirkless people specifically. As like Deku just explained that he's not going to be teaching how to use this martial arts to anyone with a quirk that it will enhance their own strength. Because he already knows if someone has this quirk like that and learns his martial arts, it would be a little too dangerous. But and All Might would be like, what about you? You now have a strength enhancing quirk. But Deku would be like, I created this martial arts. I know how to use it properly without injuring someone and with complete and utter control. No one's ever going to master this like I have, since I'm the one who created it. You can't edit it, you can't change it, you can't try changing it up, because this martial art specifically is just so versed in techniques and has so many different uses that it's literally impossible to pinpoint one way to use it. And I know every single way. As All Might would just understand this, and Deku would go to sleep that night and say hello to his mother and all of that. And he would just go wake up at 6 a.m., say goodbye to Inko, saying that he's gonna go train for the day and he might not be back until late. And Inko would be like, have fun, because she knows he can take care of himself. She was watching the news yesterday and she saw that Deku saved Bakugo, and she was completely glad about this. And people have been like news people have been trying to find him to ask and just show him off to the world, but like Deku's really been avoiding them very much. As he would get to Dekuma Beach around 6 a.m., and All Might would already be there, and the all amount of trash that Deku would see would be astounding. As he would just be like, okay, hello All Might. As this is where the 10 months of training would begin. Deku would start off easily being able to use around 10% without damaging his body, because he's already, since he's not even going to need Gran Torino to tell him to disperse the one for all throughout his entire body and not just to use it the way that he was using it originally, because he's already smart enough to know that that's just going to be idiotic. Why focus it on one area of your body when trying to use it around your entire body, and just using it as a technical entire quirk instead of just trying to not understand how to use it, because that's what Deku's main thing is to do. Learn how to use it, an ability. As Amma would be surprised, Deku had literally learned how to use full cowling. Well, technically, yeah. No, not full cowling, but like I think that's what I call it. But like he had literally already learned how to use one for all completely. Not like to the same extent that Deku had already, but like he's at least to the point that he was when Gran Torino had taught him how to do everything. And he is really getting very good at it. Like within the first month or two, he's just learning how to use one for all, learning exactly how to like use full cowling, use all of these different abilities that he literally, it would have taken him a long time to learn. All Might surprised about his growth and how fast he's learning all of these things, because he's still so young, and he's only had one for all for around 2 months at this point. And at this point he's able to use around a good 15-20% without too much struggle. Using 20% kind of puts a little strain on his body, but he can do it, not too much of an issue, because the way that his body's been training. And he doesn't just use one for all as a quirk, since it's a strength enhancer. He doesn't have to work on his strength anymore. He's still working on his strength so he can use more strength without even using one for all in the first place, since he doesn't want to just strictly rely on his quirk. As yeah, he would also, around that 2 month period, he would start he would go to the mall. He would just be chilling around, just walking around, and he would actually bump into someone that he just found a little interesting. A blonde-haired girl, that he would just kind of just look at, because like he's just noticing her smile, and he's just kind of intrigued. He's looking at her, and he could see that she's around the same age as he is, a little older maybe, but like he would walk up to her and he would just say hi, because he's more confident. So if he finds a girl attractive, he'll come up to say hi to her, just see what happens. This girl would say hi, and Deku would introduce himself, and he'd just be like, "Hi, my name is Izuku Midoriya," and this girl would just be like, "Hello, my name is Toga. It's nice to meet you." Because this is before Toga would actually join the League of Villains. And if it's not, oh well, it is now. But yeah, this was before Toga would join the League of Villains and everything, and she would be introduced to Deku. And Deku would just be like, "It's nice to meet you. I saw you from across the mall, and could help but just come over here and say hello." As Toga would just be like, "Well, isn't that bold?" As Deku would just be like, "Hey, you only live once, right?" As Togo, they would just start hitting it off. They would actually quite really like each other. they would start gaining a relationship, because I think I would like to have this from Toga be the main ship for this series, but if y'all just want me to have it be like they end up just falling off and then having someone else, tell me, put down in the comments, and I will think about it. But for the moment, I want Toga to be it, since I think having Deku and Uraka is just kind of too simple, and I already have someone else planned for Uraka. As yes, so Deku is really just chilling. Him and Toga are hitting it off as we get to around that third month. Around Deku and Toga have been dating ish for about a few weeks, and they're hanging out a lot. But Deku hasn't said anything about One for All, obviously, and they're really just chilling as much as they can. Well, Deku's not training, so it's mostly on the weekends that they see each other. But at this point, Deku's starting to have the dreams of different things about different people, and like All Might has already, and like this is something that All Might hasn't even explained to Deku. As one of the days when Deku was just overly training around that 3-month period, he would see some black figures. He would not know what they are, but this is when he was trying to push his quirk, One for All, at least to the limit. See how far he could push it before his body would start trying to fight him. And Deku would ask to explain to All Might exactly what's going on, and All Might would just say, One for All isn't like your normal quirk, as you already know. It's passed down from user to user, and every time it's passed down, a piece of the user is left behind, and as a technical soul, this period. And the fact that you can see them means that you are coming along very well. But even it took me years to be able to see them. That's all my would just say. This is very interesting. We know that I knew that One for All would get stronger and stronger as it was passed on, but to think it's already getting this strong is amazing. It's surprising, but amazing. As Deku would just ask, what does that mean? And All Might would say, we'll figure that out later on. As we get to around the 4th month, and we would get there, Deku would really start just trying to figure out these dreams. And one of the nights, he would actually just fall asleep after a long days of training. He would get some good energy too, and he would fall asleep, and he would just be like put into a state. He would just technically see his body, but he would also see around 8 chairs literally right in front of him, with 8 figures sitting on each chair. These figures being the previous users of One for All, and the last one being some of All Might, but not all of him, since he's still alive. Like, Deku can make out All Might's figure, but he can't see All Might's body at all. He can only see like this black figure, but for all the other users, he can see them, but he just can't see them clearly. But yeah, so Deku's really he's looking at them, and he would have this dream constantly throughout this entire 4th month. As during the 5th month, Deku's at this point, he's around getting closer to 25%. 25% is his max at this point, and it's going to be his max for a little while until he's doing some few other things. And he doesn't use just strictly his punches or whatever. He'll happily use his feet. He'll use his entire body in his fighting style, just to make sure, just to keep it even, since he already knows All Might's main thing is to have it just strictly be his punches, and he doesn't want to be like that. But yeah, so during that 5th month, he is just training. As one of those nights, he would fall asleep, and he would just be met by the user that wielded Black Whip. I can't remember what his name is, but he would just say, well, it looks like you're almost ready. Within the next few days and weeks, you'll start being able to use more and more of my quirk, called Black Whip. Because at this point, Deku has been able to access some of Black Whip, but not much at all. But he would just be like, okay, so what does this mean for me? As he would, this user would start explaining what Black Whip was, explaining all of that, all so much. And Deku would just be like, okay. At this point, like the Dekuma beach is almost completely clean, so Deku's really just finding different places that he can work out. Him and All Might still like stay in contact but by this point they're not training every single day since Deku's really just gaining the handle of this very quickly. At this point, they're just finding abandoned places where they know no one's gonna be, and they're doing training battles. All Might and Deku going at it against each other, and All Might's not always winning, but he's still usually winning since he can use so much more One for All. But he's noticed that Deku's able to start using Black Whip, and All Might would explain as much as he knew, and Deku's still listening to the dream, and he's actually starting to able to use Black Whip and all the other quirks from the 8 users. And that's only because he has a better understanding of One for All than Deku does in Canyon. He's actually writing down everything that One for All has been able to do, and he's just learning how to use it in his best way possible. Because that's all he cares about, that's all he wants to learn how to do. But yeah, we do a time skip all the way down to the end of the 10 months. At this point, Deku and Toga are still talking regularly, they're still dating. But they don't talk as much as they used to because they've kind of gotten busy and they're getting ready for their entrance exams. So they're trying to just keep everything as good as they can be. But they have been dating for a good like 8 months now. And Deku's Inkle's met Toga. She finds her weird, a little weird, but like she actually does like her. And Toga is not as crazy as she becomes yet, and she's not gonna get to that point if her and Deku do stay together. But yeah, Deku's getting ready for the entrance exam, and All Might and him have been training for so long at this point, and Deku's able to use Black Whip perfectly. He can use Float to an extent, and he's starting to become able to use all of the other abilities. He's able to use the One for All ability where he could sense everything, sense like things, technically Spidey sense. I can't remember what user that was, or if that actually is an ability. But if it isn't, I'll fix that in the next part. Leave it alone. I need to kind of rewatch my hero anyways, but I'm just going strictly off memory. But yeah, so Deku would become the day of the exam. Deku and Bakugo have trained together a few times, and Bakugo at least knows about One for All because Deku really just said, me and him might fight, me and him might argue, but there's no person that I trust more with my secret than him. And due to the fact that he is going to be going to UA with me, it's kind of going to be weird if he just sees me using these quirks and he knew that I was quirkless. So All Might would say, yeah, you're probably alright, kid. So All Might allowed Deku to tell him, and only him. But yeah, so the day of the entrance exam would come. Deku would wake up. He would just run over to UA, and he would start getting ready. He wouldn't trip. He wouldn't do anything since he's confident in himself, and he's at least confident of his surroundings. He's aware of his surroundings. So he would go in to UA, and he would just take a seat. He would sit right in front of Bakugo. They would take the exam, and Deku would still completely ace it. He wouldn't get like a perfect score or anything, but he would get pretty close. He would get like around a 90. And that's still an extremely high score because Deku focuses on working his mind as much as he does his body. So Deku's extremely smart. So yeah, Deku would be one of the first people done with the actual test, and he would go into the other room, and President Mike would be there, and Deku would start talking to President Mike since he actually does kind of like him. President Mike talks a lot, but like Deku doesn't see really too much problem with President Mike in mostly any senses. So they would talk. They would just chum it up. Since Deku at least get a kind of hard person for the most part, and they're really just talking. Bakugo would come in eventually, and that Deku would just start talking to him, and he would just say bye to President Mike. And yeah, so Deku and Bakugo would be talking for most of the time that President Mike was presenting all of the 0 pointers and all of that. And Ida would just be over here going like, "Okay, you guys please shut up. You guys are distracting everyone." And Deku would look at Ida, and he would just be like, "Bruh, get out of here. You're the only one that's distracting. Me and him are keeping it extremely quiet and just talking to each other. You are over here yelling and completely disturbing President Mike. So can you just please shh and get out of my face? Because he had to walk up to Deku, and just be like, oh, how could you say that to me? But President Mike would just say, kid, sit down. As yeah, Deku would just literally keep talking, and President Mike wouldn't even say anything about it, since he could already tell that this kid has to be some kind of strong. And he could sense some kind of energy coming off of Deku, and that's just literally the energy that he gives off. As yeah, so he's really just chilling. He's not doing too much, and he would we would get to the point where the actual thing would start. Deku and Bakugo are in two different fields, so Bakugo wouldn't really see what's happening with Deku, but I would be watching, and the thing would start. The gates would open, and Deku would automatically rush in. Using full Cowling, he would just blitz in there and start smacking down every robot that came into his sight, every robot that came into his way, and just yeeting them all out of existence. He wouldn't be able to get all of them, obviously, because there are still some fast people and some people that actually have some good works. But he is still just dominating badly. As yeah, so he's really just chilling for the most part. He's not going fully all out since he doesn't see the need to. He'll use Black Whip on a few occasions, just whenever he sees someone that's about to completely just get demolished by one of these robots. He'll use Black Whip to push them out of the way, and then use it to like slice the points that robot, just to get it out of commission. And he'll take the points, so he's getting rescue points along with villain points, all of that. As the 0 pointer would come out, everyone would start running away, just running. As Uraraka would still get stuck in, and Deku would see this, and he would just be like, "If you can't save yourself, then what's the point of being here? As like, if you can't be a hero if you can't save yourself first." As Deku would just run towards Uraraka, he would grab her, and just literally run her out the way. Like using Cool Cow, like he would literally just blitz to her. Completely destroy the rock by punching it, then run her out of the way, and then come right back for the 0 pointer. And he would just jump and completely kick it. The entire head and half of that, the 1 pointer, that 0 pointer would come right out. It would just completely be demolished. And when he's on his way back down, he would start technically doing a spin move, literally spinning his entire body, and using Black Whip along with it to make his body, to make it just so much more powerful, and destroy, like literally split that 0 pointer completely in half. And this is when we're leaving off. If y'all did like this part, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if y'all are new, and I'll see y'all in the next part. Goodbye, mortals.